football with Gary Cherry and Coach Johnny Toombs. Brought to you by Athletic Supply, Davis Shoes, Luther Bells, Jimmy Cobb Insurance, Texarkana Athletic Club, Regency House, McGuire Sound, Photomation, Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Orr Chevrolet, Texarkana Immediate Care, Raffaelli Realty, Hunter Power Saw, American National Bank, White's Glenwood House, Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company, Hopkins Economart, Teachers Credit Union, Daily Fence Company, Ramblin' Rose Florist, and Berkshire Homes Incorporated.
Welcome to Pleasant Grove Hawk football with Athletic Director and Head Football Coach Johnny Toombs. Last Friday night, a big night for Pleasant Grove, in as much as they had a team that came into Hawk Stadium to play the opener in the 15-3A. They came up with a 7-7 tie, Johnny, but that's better than kissing your sister.
Well, it certainly is. Dekalb was picked by most of the coaches and the sports writers to be first or second in our district, but at least second behind Hooks. And it's awfully early in the year, but the Hawks played a good football game. We're disappointed that we didn't win, but we did come from behind and were able to salvage a tie with Dekalb.
Big game, as much as it was an opener in the 15-3A for both teams. You're both 2-1 in non-conference, and certainly you would like to get that first win in the conference, but I think with a tie, it's still a big plus for Pleasant Grove going into their second game next week with a team coming from Lennon Kildare.
Well, we feel like it was a moral victory for the kids. The kids didn't really know how to react after the ball game. It's the first tie we've had in our brief history, and after we expressed our thoughts to the youngsters that we played well, we came from behind, we tied a good ball club, and it certainly didn't hurt us as far as the district race is concerned. Well, they got their heads up and felt pretty good about their contest last Friday night, and I think it'll be a good momentum builder for next week.
Tony Wiltshire dressed out last Friday night, played I think one down or so, and he looks to be ready to go next week, maybe, right?
I think Tony will be able to play next week. Most of the doctors felt like it would be better if we held him out a week, that maybe the extra time for healing would give him a better chance to be able to finish out the season. And of course Scott Eichhorn was doing a good job, and Tony didn't get to practice all week anyway, and so we decided, I made the decision not to play him last Friday night.
I know you're really proud of Scott Eichhorn. Scott had a real good ball game last Friday night, 131 yards on 27 carries.
Scott steps in and does a very good job. Scott could be starting at tailback for a lot of people, and of course Tony has done the job over the years and is an exceptional back, and Scott's proven his worth also. I believe he's had over 100 yards rushing every game he started for Tony. And we're going to utilize both of them in the future. Even if Tony plays next week, Scott Eichhorn's going to carry the football also.
We've got a lot of action coming your way for the first half, but we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to be going to the pep rally from last Friday morning and see if you enjoy it.
You know, giving yourself a gift for the home sure makes a lot of sense these days, especially when you have to watch your budget like Deborah and I do. It's really the only practical thing to do at Christmas time. Our new dining group is already here for us to enjoy now, through the holidays, and for years to come.
So when you want more than just a furniture store, it's White's Glenwood House.
American National Bank is your full-service bank. For your convenience, our drive-through windows open from 7:30 to 6 weekdays and 9 till noon on Saturdays. As the financial leader in Northwest Texarkana, American National Bank offers interest-bearing checking accounts, money market accounts, IRAs, CDs, and will assist you for your mortgage loan, automobile, personal, or commercial loan. Deposit or withdraw at your convenience with Max 24. American National Bank, 2301 Richmond Road, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Max Headroom's Pop Quiz. And what I want to know is, Swagger, where does the refreshing new phrase, catch the wave, come from? Obviously, cocologists. Blindfold, please. Quicker next time. In blind taste tests, which pop drink did more people prefer? The new taste of Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi!
Wrong. I love trick questions. Coke! Coke. The new taste of Coke. It's true. You heard it here first. Catch the wave. Coke.
Rain fell just before the game, Johnny, last Friday night, but Dekalb Bears there for the first game of the 15-3A.
Right, it rained up until about an hour before kickoff, and then the rain did stop, and it was a beautiful night for football. Dekalb won the toss and elected to receive, and Brian Baker boots it down to about the 15-yard line. The Hawks good coverage. Scott Eichhorn, along with Paul Lubrey in on that tackle. Dekalb really has some weapons that scare you. Their quarterback, James Germany, is a real fine athlete, and the Hawk defense did a great job containing him. That was David Fawcett and Van Morris in on that tackle, and it's 1-2-3 kick, and the Bears were forced to turn over the football. Van Morris on the kick return. We start on about the 35, and we're going to have a very impressive drive here, Gary. Scott Eichhorn behind some good blocking from Mike Young and Craig Schultz, and then Van Morris to the other side. We're going to move the ball down the field before we finally throw an interception. Here's Scott again behind Mason Peebles and Steve Cullen's block. And the Hawks were able to pile up pretty good yardage on the ground.
The offensive line for Pleasant Grove, very, very impressive.
Well, we've improved quite a bit. Coach David Pitts has done a good job with the offensive line. Bill Stone at center kind of anchors that position for us, and Jerry Moody and Craig Schultz at the guard. This was overthrown here by David Fawcett, and then House intercepted for Dekalb, and we're able to finally trip him up, and the ball pops loose, but it was ruled that he did hit the ground first, which was a good call. But our offensive line has improved. They're a little patched up right now. Jimmy Townsend's out, and now his replacement, Mason Peebles, has chip bone in his foot from Friday night, so we're going to have to revamp our offensive line. The defense, once again, just did a tremendous job this week, and it was 1-2-3 kick again, and Van misplayed the punt. It bounced off of him, but we were able to recover. And we turned the ball over on the very first play, I believe. Dekalb recovers on our 40. But the defense does a good job, good pressure from Greg Knapp. Ball tipped away by John Simpson at the free safety. Ed Zid chases Germany down here and gets some help from the rest of the Hawk defense. Trace Warren had an outstanding ball game, as did Todd Hiron at linebacker.
That's James Germany. He's a tall young man for Dekalb.
He is really a good athlete. He and Bagsby, and also they had a tight end named Pruitt that didn't get to play this week, but they're all college prospects. There were some scouts there checking some of the kids out Friday night. So after a punt, this is Todd Hiron on a run out to about the 20-yard line. We didn't enjoy a real good field position in the end of the first quarter and back into the second quarter. We were backed up to our goal line pretty much and had to limit our offense. Kenny Davis did an outstanding job punting the football. This ball is bobbled momentarily, and Van and Mike Kyle's there to do a good job. The Cab fumbled 4 times, but we couldn't get the bounce to go right. We didn't recover any of them. It's a long pass from Germany to the wide receiver, and Steve Cullen right there, and the defense again doing a tremendous job. Punts the ball away, and Van wisely lets it go into the end zone, and we start out again on our own 20. It's David Fawcett on the option play, picking up good yardage. The quick pitch to Scott Eichhorn. The quick pitch was probably our best play Friday night. Scott and Van both had good yardage with the quick pitch. The lineman did an outstanding job getting out in front of them.
Another good kick by the punter.
Kenny Davis did a good job. Chad Dodson did a good job getting the football back to him on the snap. And we had just a good sound football game all the way around. There's a big play there. I believe that was Greg Knapp, and Mark Hawkins did a good job with 2 technique. And Again, Pruitt has to punt for Dekalb, and Van watches the ball roll out of bounds. Good field position at about the 42-yard line. We felt like we were going to throw the ball on Dekalb, so when we got good field position, we came out and tried to pass, but we couldn't find the target, and Kenny boots it away again, and this was the way it went all night. The ball bounced off the Dekalb player, and we had several shots at it and just couldn't find the handle. And Dekalb was going to score on this drive, so that would have been a big turnover for us.
Well, Dekalb lost the ball 4 times Friday night, but they recovered all the fumbles.
They recovered all 4 of their fumbles. We did have a pass interception right before half, but we're not getting many turnovers to come our way, and that's going to even out over the year. We've had ample opportunity to come up with some fumbles, but we just haven't really had the right bounce. And this is the touchdown. We lose containment on Germany, and when you do that, he is a threat, and he did get in to score. He injured his ankle, but the point after was good, and it made it 7-0. There's about 30-some-odd seconds, I think, to go into halftime. And, you know, we return the kick. Steve Cullen makes a good return, but he has the ball stripped loose, and Dekalb's going to get it right back. They have time to run the sweep and get out of bounds and stop the clock, and then Van Morris makes a nice interception here on this pass from McCullough, and Van intercepts and returns it out to about the 25, 30-yard line, and then we're going to run the clock out. I think there's 12 seconds left, and we didn't want to take a chance, so we let the clock run out.
Well, that was a big plus with Van Morris intercepting that ball just before that first half came to an end.
Well, it could have been disastrous if we'd fumbled after the fumble kickoff. If Dekalb had scored again, it would have had a tremendous effect on our mental approach to the second half. As it was, we went into the halftime 7 points down, and the youngsters were winded and tired and disappointed, but I don't think there was any doubt in their minds that they could come back and win the ball game in the second half.
I know you were pleased with your defensive in the first half of the ball. I know your coaches and yourself were real pleased with that.
Well, Coach Fawcett and Coach Burks and Coach Niven and Coach Carter all did a super job this week getting the defensive team ready, and they played another great ball game just like they did last week against Commerce. And we were worried about Dekalb. They had some skilled people that we were really concerned about, and we did a good job containing Germany and did all the things we needed to do to play well enough to win the ball game.
Again, I know you're proud of Scott Eichhorn. Again, he had a good ball game last Friday night, 131 yards on 27 carries. In the absence of Tony Wiltshire, that's a plus.
It really is. It's nice to have someone like Scott that can step in and do that good of a job. And of course, I think he carried 27 times. Our tailback is a workhorse in our offense, and we blocked well, we executed well, we had several good drives. We just fell short of scoring several times, and we need to put more points on the board. But Scott had another outstanding night.
Well, we've got plenty of action coming your way for the second half of this ball game, but first we're going back to the pep rally last Friday morning at Pleasant Grove Gym.
Some real estate agents have only one sales tool, and even though they keep hammering away with it, they don't always get the results you'd hope for. But our company has a comprehensive home marketing system with a very simple benefit. It works. Better Homes and Gardens, the better way to sell your home.
For a free, no-obligation home market analysis, call Raffaele Realtors 794-3322. Also displaying homes for sale or lease at our new office in Central Mall.
We all like to save money and want to get the very best value. That's why I buy all of my jewelry from Luther Bells in Central Mall. If you're shopping for jewelry, I encourage you to visit Luther Bells before you make your final decision. I know when I buy from Luther Bells, I've gotten the best quality for the price. When you're shopping for jewelry, stop by Luther Bells, and you'll see what I mean.
Luther Bells in Texarkana.
Daily Fence Company, serving Texarkana with quality in the board and chain fencing business, now offers cloth awnings at an unbelievable price. For patios, storefronts, even windows, enhance the beauty of your home or business with durable awnings. Regulate the warmth and brilliance of the sun with a wide variety of colors and styles to choose from. Call today. Free estimates or planning service. Satisfaction is guaranteed. Cloth awnings, now at Daily Fence Company. Call 838-7892.
For quite some time now, we've been telling you that Orr Chevrolet beats them all. Now, we guarantee it. Orr Chevy in Texarkana will beat any advertised price on any new Chevrolet car or truck. That simply means that you're sure to get the best deal at Orr Chevrolet. Just bring us any ad for any dealer anywhere in the Arklatex, and Orr Chevy will beat that advertised price. Now, more than ever, at Orr Chevrolet, we beat them all.
Pleasant Grove will receive the football to start the third quarter with a score DeKalb 7, Pleasant Grove nothing.
And the Hawks are going to receive that kickoff and get a good offensive thrust going, and we're going to get on the scoreboard here in the third quarter to tie the game. The kick is deep to Steve Cullen. He takes it on about the 15, and Steve's going to make a very good return behind some good blocking up to the 45-yard line. And the Hawks are going to set up shop there, and we're going to start out with a little reverse to Steve Cullen, and behind some blocking from Chad Davis and Jerry Moody, he moves out across midfield. And here on third down, our quarterback gets sacked, and the Cavs call for a late hit and a spear, and that's going to move the ball. 15-yard penalty is going to give us a first down even deeper into Cab territory. We get down to about the 30-yard line. It's a good run here from Van Morris. And I believe on the next play, we're going to hit Trace Warren on a screen pass. David Fawcett did a good job setting it up. The offensive line does an excellent job blocking, and Trace Warren gets out in the open field and shows a little speed and gets into the end zone. And on the extra point, Brian Baker boots it down the middle, and it's 7-7 ball game.
Trace Warren gets credit for a 39-yard pass reception from David Fawcett, 7-7 right now here in the third quarter.
And the Hawks are going to get a little momentum now. We kick the ball off, and that's Gary Early in on the tackle. The Cab had a penalty, moves them back to the 15, and Van Morris on an excellent play there. We were very concerned about this little counter play from the Cab, but Craig Schultz and the rest of the defense read that play well, and they punt the ball, and Van's going to watch it go out of bounds at the Cab 49. We try to hit them real quick while we have the momentum on a halfback pass, and Steve Cullen wisely overthrows as David Oliver was covered on the play. We go back to the reverse again, but the Cavs ready for it this time, and so Kenny Davis then just makes a very good punt here. He kicks the ball out on about the 10-yard line, and we were able to enjoy a very good field position here early in the second half.
Kenny had a real good night with the punting the football, Johnny.
He sure did. There was a big hit there from Mike Kyles, a big hit from Trace Warren and Greg Knapp, and Kenny did punt very well and kept the Cab at bay. This is a very tough break here on third down. Steve Cullen makes an excellent play, but grabbed the face mask and it let the Cab out of the hole. We had them pinned up, and at first down, as a result of the penalty, cost us a little field position. But here's David Fawcett on the blitz, tackling Germany, and the Hawks are hanging on to that 7-7 as we move into the fourth quarter.
The defense really just after the football all night.
Well, we got a good pass rush at times, and as long as we kept our containment on Germany, we did a good job. That ball was tipped away by Trace Warren, and so Pruitt backs up to punt again for the Cab. And again, it goes over Van Morris's head. Van uses his judgment very well, and the ball rolls in the end zone. Big run here by Scott Eichhorn. I believe this was maybe a 3rd and 7, picked up the first down. Come back again to Scott, and he breaks some tackles and good body lean and carrying a lot of White's jerseys with him down the field, but we get a holding call, and this play cost us about 25 or 30 yards, which is going to really be detrimental later. Scott again cutting inside to the Cab pursuit. This was a long yardage situation, and he makes about a 30-yard gain, gets us down close into Cab territory. Fourth down here, we're going to get stopped. We like fourth down at about two yards, and the ball popped loose. It did hit the ground. This ball has been blown dead. And the Cab holds us here on, I think this is about our next to last possession. Mark Hawkins Keith Fincher, the entire herd of Hawks after the Dekalb runner there. This is Bagsby, big, strong youngster, weighs about 220, but the kids did a good job on him also, Gary.
This Germany, Johnny, he really is their big workhorse, isn't he?
Well, he really is, and the kid showed a lot of character and a lot of courage. He was hurt, and as was Bagsby, number 9. Both teams were a little crippled up, and both teams showed a lot of courage, you know, lining up and playing as good a hard-fought ball game as we did, and it was a very clean-fought game. There's Fawcett on the blitz. The ball was knocked loose, but again, we didn't get the right bounce, and this pass was incomplete. Receiver was open. It concerned us. And this ball here, he's forced to throw the ball away, throw it out of bounds. One official called intentional grounding, but the referee ruled it off, blew it off, and this is, I believe, the 4th down play. It was complete, but it was not enough for the first down. So we're going to take the football, Gary, inside our 20 with about 2.5 minutes to go. We don't want to throw an interception or do something silly to give Dekalb the ball, but the youngsters just lined up and executed well, and we're going to move it down to have a chance at the field goal. And Scott Eichhorn on a good run, breaks some tackles out to about the 45. Come back with Van Morris on the quick pitch, and boy, that little rascal, you know, breaks up the field, makes 10 or 12 yards, and we're on the move.
I think one of these days Van Morris is going to break one all the way.
Well, he has the potential to. There's a very good job by David Fawcett looking to his 2nd and 3rd choice, hitting David Oliver on a big play to set up the field goal. We have time to run one play, and here's the field goal attempt from 32 yards away, which is certainly within Brian's range. He just didn't make good contact with it, but boy, he made a big extra point, and of course the big field goal last week. And on the last play of the game, Greg Knapp chases Germany down, and game ended 7-7.
Well, we had mentioned earlier in a kidding way that a tie's like kissing your sister, but really, in all essence, when you come off with a tie like that, it's a moral plus for the team, particularly your 3rd year as a high school. It's got to be a moral plus for you.
Well, had we been playing for a long time and it maybe had some success against Dekalb and tied, we would be more disappointed. We certainly didn't have any intentions of tying the game. We wanted to win the game. It felt like we played well enough to, but due to the fact that we did come from behind, that's a plus, and due to the fact that we showed a lot of class and character to move the ball as far as we did late in the ball game to get a chance at the field goal, to have a chance to win the game. Now, you know, since we did have a shot at the field goal, well, I'm sure that Dekalb feels like they dodged the bullet, and maybe we should have, you know, won the ball game.
Well, I know Brian Baker certainly last week won the game with his toe, but this young man's a good kicker. He's going to come back and win some ball game with that toe of his.
Oh, he certainly is. He's just a sophomore, and he has a very strong leg, and Brian doesn't get flustered out there. He's very calm and collected, and he was disappointed that he missed the field goal, but he didn't lose the ball game, and of course he had the last chance at winning it, and so sometimes people put a little bit too much pressure on a youngster like that, but we told the youngsters after the game, we win and lose as a team, and we tie as a team also, and it was a team effort, and you know, it's not a win, but it's the next best thing.
Well, you're 2-1-1 now, 0-1 in conference, and you open another big ball game next week at home. It's homecoming next week with the Tigers from Lynn Kildare. I know you've got a big week of activities coming up there at Pleasant Grove.
Well, we do. It begins Monday. We'll announce the Queen, crown the Queen Monday night at a pep rally at the gymnasium. The public is invited to attend. We'll have a big burning of the H outside, which has become a tradition, and then, of course, we'll have activities leading up to the Friday night football game, which, of course, we hope is the main attraction. But we had a very tough loss to Linden last year. The youngsters are really looking forward to playing them. There is going to be a lot of activities this week at the Grove.
How's the injury situation right now going into next week's ball game with the Tigers from Linden Kildare?
Well, we got John Daly back this week. Of course, John's been out for a long time, and he played on some of our specialty teams. John is back, and hopefully we can use him more. Jimmy Townsend is going to be out probably for another week or two. Mason Peoples is out for a week or two with bad ankles, both of those people, and we're going to have to maybe move some personnel around again. Wilshire will play. He'll play hurt, and Tony's going to have to really show a lot of courage, which he will. But we're probably going to be a little better off last week than we were this week.
We'll be back with some more closing comments about the game next week with the Tigers from Linden Kildare. But first, we're going to go back to the pep rally last Friday morning at the Grove, and I know you'll enjoy it.
Okay, Jonathan, we're sending you back in time.
Before television, radio, even before soft drinks. Careful. Anything you do could change history.
Mum's the word.
Activate time travel mode to the year 1885.
He's there.
Hey, where's my Pepsi?
It's... Oh, no. He took it.
Relax, Smith. What could 12 ounces of Pepsi possibly change?
Yeah, what could happen?
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
In a world of ordinary mowers, top customers look for the extraordinary, which isn't easy to find until you come to Aaron's. Aaron's gives you variable speed control, folding handlebars, more bagging capacity, and more years of service.
Aaron's makes being tough easy.
Aaron's, the easy choice for tough customers.
Available at Hunter Power Saw Company, 4810 West 7th Highway 67, Texarkana.
Tony Wiltshire and all the folks at Tony Wiltshire Company hope you're enjoying these Pleasant Grove Hawks telecasts each week. Thus far in 1986, our Hawks have shown the courage and spirit so necessary to the building of an outstanding football program. Congratulations to Coach Johnny Toombs, to all of the Hawks coaching staff, and of course to the Pleasant Grove Hawks on their victories this year. Know, too, that we're with you all the way, regardless of the outcome of each game. Get those tickets. Come out and support the Pleasant Grove Hawks football team in 1986.
It's homecoming this week at the Grove. This Friday night's ball game will start at 7:30, but a lot of festivities this week, Johnny, at the Grove.
Well, Monday night we do crown the Queen and have some burning of the H, which has become a tradition again, as we mentioned. And the ball game, of course, Friday night will be the highlight attraction, we hope, but there will be a lot of activities before the game. The pregame activities will be centered around the homecoming. We've had good crowds the last few weeks, and we expect another big crowd Friday night. And I'd like to take this time to thank the support personnel, the support group for the football team, and Gary Cobb and Kelly Rogers with the band. They've done a tremendous job. The band gives us a lot of spirit and a lot of good sounds for us. Linda McCourt does an excellent job with the drill team, and Lori Abels has done a super job with the cheerleaders, and we certainly appreciate all those people and their groups.
Well, as a community, Pleasant Grove has really rallied around the sports, and without your bands and your other faculty and your kids itself in school, the athletic part of any high school is not there unless you have all the others working together.
Well, that's true, and we do have a lot of support, and it makes the youngsters feel good to know that the fans appreciate them, and they genuinely feel that they do, and we in return certainly appreciate the fans coming out. And I know last Friday night after we missed the field goal, I understand that the crowd gave the team a standing ovation when they left the field, and that certainly made them feel good.
Remember, that game this next Friday night will be a 7:30 ball game at the Grove. Remember, on Dimension Channel 2 on Sundays and Tuesday nights at 7:30, you'll be able to watch the playback of Pleasant Grove Hawk football. Until next week, speaking for Johnny Toombs, this is Gary Cherry saying until next week, join us for Pleasant Grove Hawk football.
Pleasant Grove football has been brought to you by Athletic Supply, Davis Shoes, Luther Bells, Jimmy Cobb Insurance, Texarkana Athletic Club, Regency House, McGuire Sound, Photomation, Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Orr Chevrolet, Texarkana Immediate Care, Raffaelli Realty, Hunter Power Saw, American National Bank, White's Glenwood House, Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company, Hopkins Economart, Teachers Credit Union, Daily Fence Company, Ramblin' Rose Forest, and Wiltshire Homes Incorporated. Pleasant Grove Football is a production